Rahu's movement into Shadvisha, but he is definitely gaining strength here, and work, career, profession, karma, etc. is going to become a priority for you folks. You will be bringing in the right cleverness, dealing with negotiation situations in a very smart fashion. Hi guys, welcome back to Dev Astrology. Today we are going to be doing the December monthly reading, and you can watch this reading both from moon sign as well as from your lagna, ascendant or rising perspective, because a lot of you keep on posing this question, and I repeat, there cannot be separate predictions coming in for different rising or moon sign. You have to evaluate it from both angles. So say if you are an Aries moon but a Pisces rising, I recommend you to please check out both videos. Now without further ado, let's quickly look into the important dates which are going to be coming into picture for the course of this month. So folks, first and foremost, Sun is going to be making its transit into the sign of Sagittarius on December 15th. He is currently placed in the sign of Scorpio itself. Then you have Mercury, which is in the sign of Libra, but he will be entering into the sign of Scorpio on December 6th, whilst he will be moving and making the last transit of the year into the sign of Sagittarius on December 29th. Then you have Venus also placed in the sign of Scorpio itself, whereas he will be transiting into the sign of Sagittarius on December 20th. Then you have Mars also in conjunction, however combust, placed in the sign of Scorpio, and it is going to be transiting into the sign of Sagittarius from December 7th. Then you have Jupiter, which is sitting in retrograde mode, and it is going to be coming into the sign of Gemini in retrogression itself on December 5th. So that's a key shift coming into picture. That's a good shift. In fact, for many of you coming into picture here, Saturn is placed in Purv Bhadrapada Nakshatra of Jupiter in the sign of Pisces itself. Rahu is in a Shat Bisha Nakshatra of itself in the sign of Aquarius, and I will try and make videos on Rahu's transit into Shat Bisha Nakshatra as well. It's important for us to understand the shift of this Rahu and how it's going to be impacting us. And then last but not the least, Ketu is placed in the sign of Leo in the Purva Falguni Nakshatra of Venus itself. Now, as you guys can see on your screen here, Taurus, you have Jupiter placed in your second house, Rahu and Ketu in your 10th and 4th respectively. You have your Lagna Lord shown in Scorpio, where you will have multi-planetary positions. Mercury will also come in here. Sun is here and he'll move into Sagittarius. Mars started its position in the month in the sign of Scorpio itself, and Saturn is in your 11th house, becoming direct in the sign of Pisces. Now, first and foremost, let's understand what is happening with this retrograde placement of Jupiter in your second house. Jupiter, we did a detailed video on its Atichari movement in its exaltation and then becoming retrograded in the month of October itself. But you have to understand that after the first 5 days, Jupiter will be slipping back from its point of exaltation in retrograde motion in your second house in Gemini itself. And it is important for us to understand here that a lot of times it's said that retrograde planets in its exaltation start acting as debilitated planets. I don't necessarily conform to that bit, but yes, it is for sure that he has turned his face from its point of exaltation. So the positive effects of that are definitely reduced to a certain bit. And more importantly, because he is in retrogression, a duplication of effort, delays in matters, lot of chestabal is coming into picture. And that is going to be the flavor of what you've been observing since November, and it continues in the first week of December as well. But once Jupiter is in the second house, being the lord of your 11th and 8th in retrograde in the second, is giving an indication that this is going to be the period where there will be a definitive transformation of sorts or a lot of attempt from your side to change things in your house, in your family, within your food habits for that matter, or with respect to your money and gains too. Because he is important planet holding the portfolio of both 8th as well as 11th house for you. So his retrogression in the second house is indicating that there is going to be a continuous effort, which now you are going to start putting, Taurus, towards making your financial matters healthier, to achieving your financial goals. And it will take some time before you are able to succeed in those endeavors. It's not that success is not going to come for you, but the effort is going to be repetitive by nature, which means that there will be a need of perfection. Either you will inherently have it, or you will chase that perfection as well through this period. This also alludes that whilst there will be positive situation within your family, your immediate circle, from a food habits perspective, but you could be required to, look inwards and see that have you been following the right diet? Is this a period where I need to juggle up with the kind of food habits that I have and come up with something new? Those kind of thoughts, those kind of shift in mindset is also going to be coming into picture. He's giving a retrograded aspect towards your sixth house, eighth house, and 10th house. And because the aspect of this Jupiter is both on your sixth and your 10th, people who are employed, people who are in job somewhere, I anticipate that many of you could be seeing a sudden shift of sorts. And you've got to navigate that carefully. That shift is going to come in terms of changing your job profile, your job role. Some sort of a repeated action could be required in terms of your attempts to make things right. And therefore, your competition could also be obsessed over you. Peers around you could be obsessed in terms of finding your mistakes. But you've got to maintain your cool. You've got to navigate that smartly. You will be required to put that increased amount of karma throughout this period. But the great part is, Rahu is sitting and he's getting in Shadbisha Nakshatra. We'll talk about that. You will have the mental sanity and strength to navigate that smartly. You will be able to overcome that as well. However, some bit of a frustration buildup is also going to be accompanied throughout this period. So be watchful on that front. But Jupiter coming into the second house, he's the Karaka, significator of second house in itself, national significator. So his presence, I definitely do not see in any negative way, even in retrograde motion. Though the Cheshta bal is high, you will be taking the right measures to make things happen. So that's a positive bit there. Now, as you move further, you have Ketu placed in your fourth pile. Bang opposite to it is Rahu in Shadbisha Nakshatra, as we said. In fact, I will be planning to make a video as well. I know, I should have done this by now, but thanks, giving week was happening throughout, and I just, wanted to get some break with friends and family. But I will try and put up a video where I will talk about the impact of Rahu's movement into Shadbisha. But he is definitely gaining strength here, and work, career, profession, karma, etc. is going to become a priority for you folks. By the way, with Jupiter's aspect towards the sixth house, I missed calling out. This is going to be a period where you'll have to keep a check on your health as well. In fact, Venus, your lung lord, is also sitting in Scorpio and will be forming a Vipreet Raj Yoga later into the sign of Sagittarius. So shift and, repivoting yourself. Sort of Phoenix rising bit is going to come into picture, but more importantly, you will have to review your health related matters. If you are embarking on any kind of new loans and stuff, it might require some additional bit of paperwork. There could not be an immediate approval or signing coming your way. Things will work out, but some sort of frustration is definitely anticipated. Please keep a check on your health in this period, guys. Now, Ketu is on the other side, bang opposite to Rahu in the fourth house. And he is, he's been here since May. He's in the nakshatra of Venus itself. There is going to be some improvement that you see in terms of your emotional strength, etc. But still, I anticipate most of you, Taurus, will be more outside focused, more oriented towards the world, towards how you are positioning yourself in terms of your relationships and connections versus the inner strength. And that balance, guys, is what you have to figure out to navigate cleverly. Like, there is no remedy and stuff that people keep talking about. At the end of the day, in this channel, I try to bring a shift in the mindset. And that's what I am alluding to for you guys, Taurus. That think that how can you make a balance in terms of your work and personal life? You will find yourself very much aloof or taken away from your home front as well. There could be an absolute disregard towards your assets, not taking care of things, or being too distant with the people around you emotionally as well. Those kind of situations could be coming into picture. So please be watchful on all those areas. Now, both of these planets are going to be giving fifth, seventh, and ninth aspect. So Ketu's aspect are towards your eighth house, your 10th house, and your 12th house, whilst Rahu is giving an aspect towards your second, sixth, and fourth. So there is definitely a promise of you trying to consolidate your wealth, be focused, heavily targeted towards your family members, towards matters of loans, litigations, work, career, profession, obstacles, dealing with them cleverly. Yet, you will continually be undergoing some sort of transformation. You will be learning stuff and you will have to repivot yourself to come out brand new. And the reason that is happening is there is a seven planetary movement or aspect coming into the sign of Sagittarius in your eighth house. You see, Sun, Mars, Venus, Mercury, they all will be navigating into your eighth house, whilst Jupiter, Ketu, and Saturn are giving an aspect into the sign of Sagittarius in your eighth house. So transformation, suddenness, shifts coming into picture, new learnings coming into picture are going to become crucial. Now, as you move further, you see that your lucky lord Venus is placed in the seventh house itself. Now, Venus's placement in the seventh is definitely not a bad situation to be in. This is a, albeit it is in the sign of Scorpio. So, yes, transformation remains the common theme for the month of December. But his placement in the seventh is also indicating that you could be very focused towards the outer world, towards the marketplace, towards your spouse, towards your business partner, business colleagues for that matter. And you will be bringing an empathetic amount of energy in terms of dealing with those issues. However, it's not just Venus which is sitting alone there. You have Mars and Sun also placed. In fact, in the first week, Mercury will be in your sixth house. I've depicted in the seventh for ease, and it is going to be placed here for a major part of the month. But you have these multiple planetary positions, three planets in your sign of Scorpio in the start of the month itself. And Mars happens to be the lord of your 12th house and your 7th house itself. So, whilst there will be a definitive attempt for you to make things happen in terms of your relationships with your business colleagues, with your spouse, there could be a 12th factor also coming into picture, either in the form of expenses. A sudden requirement of expenses could pop up. Maybe the health situation of your spouse, or unexpected, unanticipated expense for a business investment that could be required during this period. So be open to that idea as well. I do not see that in a negative light because the seventh lord is in the seventh house itself. Then it is coupled with the fourth lord as well. So fourth lord has done four places away movement into the seventh house. That's another positive sign. And therefore, you spending time with your spouse, you spending time in your business, with your business colleagues, with business partners, is going to give you that peace of mind as well. And as I said, Taurus, this month is all about being outwardly more focused towards the larger world than the inner self. That balance is what you have to continue to strive towards. And before we talk about the transformation bit, during the same first week duration itself, Mercury is sitting in your sixth house. Now, Mercury in sixth, it's a natural Kal Purush chart ownership as well for Mercury. He's the lord of your second and your fifth house. And therefore, there is going to be, especially for students watching this video, it is a decent time for you to be aggressive, to be taking the right decisions on a competitive scale, from a competitive examination perspective. Remember, this Mercury is also Pathik. He was already in the seventh house. We had clipped back in the retrograde motion and come to the sixth house placement. But he is going to bring in positive luck benediction for you in your competitive success at this point in time. At the same time, you will have to navigate your issues with respect to your job, articulating your speech, your communication with your enemies cleverly. You have the impact of Rahu, plus you've got the punya strength of the fifth house as well to make things better. As you move further through the course of the month, Mercury is going to be transiting into the sign of Scorpio as well in the second week of December. So that's the same time when Mars will shift into your eighth house and Jupiter will have slipped into the sign of Gemini. And now you see the second lord and the fifth lord is placed in your seventh house. And this is where I think there's going to be a positive development for people who are in relationships with your romantic partners. Your communication is going to enhance. But there could be some bit of hurtful speech, some bit of hidden energies in spying your partner or trying to revalidate and check what they've said before That is something you've got to be watchful, and that could bring negative situation as well, argumentative situations as well, because sun will also be placed here. So sun finds itself in a naturally debilitated position here, and that risk is what I will advise you guys, Taurus, to navigate smartly. However, Mercury also doesn't have great digable being stationed in the seventh house, but given the fact he is the lord of your second and your fifth, I see positive growth coming in your relationships with your spouse, especially in your business relationships. I see a lot of positivity in all those areas. You will be bringing in the right cleverness, dealing with negotiation situations in a very smart fashion. As you move further, Mercury will become conjunct with the rest of the planets in the sign of Sagittarius in the eighth house later, and we'll touch upon that bit in a second. But right after the first week, Mars is going to be slipping into your eighth house. Now, he is your 12th lord coming into the eighth house. It will be forming a Viparit Rajuga. He remains combusted there, and he will become conjunct with a luminary coming into the eighth house, which is Sun. He is your fourth lord coming into the eighth. See, one thing is for sure, Taurus. This is going to be a month where shift, transformation, pivot in your life, bouncing back of things is going to happen. Unexpected situations that you had not planned for are going to come to the fore, and you will have to deal with those matters. But at the same time, it could bring, lots of challenges as well. And that transformation can be toll taking. Now, this is a general prediction. I recommend you to please check your natal dasha, antar dasha as well. But with multiple planetary positions coming into the eighth house, you've got to be cautious with respect to driving or any kind of accidental situations coming into picture. Some sort of health related matter can be turbulent because the 12th lord is in the 8th. So that's a crucial thing that you guys have to keep in mind. And then, your fourth lord sun is also coming to the 8th house, and that is indicating that now your learning, your knowledge will be immersed into something that you've not focused before. It could be occult, or it could be in research of some sorts. Many of you could embark into new research initiatives too, because Venus will also become conjunct in the last leg of the month from December 20th into your 8th house itself. So that is where I would want to draw some caution now. Good part is Venus acts like a Sanjeevani, it acts like a healing energy. So it is going to help you heal too, but you could feel initial repercussions coming your way. And that is where that word of caution towards your health, towards not taking any new decisions randomly unless and until fully planned for. Speculative activities, taking shortcuts of sorts, that could be enticing many of you. And it can be a tricky situation because Jupiter is sitting retrograded in your second house, and all of these planets from your from your eighth house are giving in that aspect to the second as well. So your motive could be expansion, but it might backfire if you go about doing aggressive amount of speculative energies in your life. Remember, I said that Mercury on 29th of December will also transit into the sign of Sagittarius. He is your fifth lord coming into the eighth house. Now, this is the period where some bit of turbulence can come in your speculative calls. Interest towards gambling might result into losses. Yes, there is a swap yoga between Mercury and Jupiter, but I would still want you to navigate that carefully, especially from the health of your child as well. If you are watching this video, it is crucial. Not one of the best period in terms of planning childbirth, progeny and stuff. This is not the best period once Mercury is also coming into the eighth house. So be watchful on those areas. Now, coming back to Mars, he happens to be your 12th lord and your 8th lord, whilst he is in the in the 7th house itself. I'm so sorry, 12th lord and 7th lord. So whilst in the first part of the month he is in the 7th house itself, he is giving an aspect towards your fourth, your first and your second. This means that there is going to be a good amount of energy coming in from your side to put in the right efforts to make things happen. But at the same time, temper, communication is something that you have to keep a check. I talked about communication in the earlier part of the video, so be mindful of that. And he's giving an aspect to the second as well. So this gives a risk of argumentative situations coming in with family members throughout the course of the month. Once he's pivoting into the eighth house as well, he continues to give an aspect towards your second house, as well as a debilitated aspect towards the third, which means that whilst there would be efforts coming in, They may not be as courageous as you would desire them to be. You may not be as strong in terms of your expression and communication as you aspire to. But the good part is he's giving an aspect on that Saturn and your 11th house, which is definitely giving an indication that after that initial hiccup, you will figure out a way achieve your goals, to achieve your targets. Jupiter in retrogression is going to make you rework on those areas, but you will find a way to navigate that successfully. Last but not the least, guys, Saturn happens to be the lord of your ninth house and 10th house, and he has finally become direct in your 11th house itself. Of course, from there he's giving an aspect to your lagna, to your rashi if you're watching from a Taurus moon perspective. But the important bit is your ninth lord was sitting retrograded, and it is not easy. He's your he's your yoga karaka planet as well. But if you don't have a retrograded Saturn in your natal chart, you would have found things much more difficult throughout the last 140, 50 odd days whilst he was retrograded. So him becoming direct is giving a promise that now, slowly but steadily, you will be able to accomplish your goals too. It is going to help you materialize the ambitions and make sure that whatever targets, that financial gain that you are planning for, working towards, now slowly starts trickling in your direction. Important bit is, as I said, four planets are transiting into Sagittarius, and then along with Saturn, Jupiter, and Ketu, the aspects are also coming into this eighth house, and therefore transformation is going to be coupled with it. This Saturn, apart from its aspect to the Taurus as well as towards the Sagittarius side, is also giving an aspect towards your fifth house. And that is the reason, folks, I continue to emphasize, as I said in the earlier part of the video, and yet again, that speculation may result into losses, and therefore be very cautious as to how you go about making your investments. However, this Saturn is going to empower you continuously learn new stuff, to educate yourself. You are going to forge a stronger foundation of your relationships. If the relationship is in the right path or the right person is there in your life, you are only going to build upon that, and it is going to be a slow but definitive process. All in all, December happens to be a decent month, but it's a month that talks about transformation, that expects you to keep a watch on your health, avoid speculation of any sorts, good period for you to materialize your educational aspects, decent period from a career work profession perspective. You will have every ammunition in your in your armory to make things happen, but there could be a need of continuous effort from your side. The more you drop the ball, the more things will get frustrating for you. I hope you guys found this useful. If you have, then I request you to please smash on that like button, subscribe to Dave Astrology, and keep watching. Om Namah Shivaya, Har Har Mahadev.